What if the boys just showed us Homelander becoming a literal god, and nobody can stop him anymore? Episode 7 of The Boys. Season 5 is packed with insane Easter eggs, political satire, hidden details, and one of the darkest setups for the finale yet. From Homelander creating his own religion, to Synapse exposing Butcher's darkest secret. This episode was absolute chaos. So let's break down every major detail, reference, parody, and hidden meaning you probably missed. The episode opens with Homelander's religious anthem playing in the background. After taking V1 in the last episode, Homelander is now basically immortal, or at least as close to a god as this universe can get. And now, Oh Father is preparing the world to worship him. This entire musical sequence is a parody of American megachurches, and if you listen closely to the lyrics, one line literally says quartz. He turned water into wine. What a useless power. That's a direct mockery of Jesus' peaceful miracles. The show is basically saying traditional compassion is weak now, and violent power is what people worship instead. Then another line says, "No invisible man in the sky, boys. He is right in front of your eyes." That line is huge. The message here is simple. People don't want an unseen god anymore, and they want someone physically standing in front of them, and Homelander fills that role perfectly. Even the stage design reflects this idea. The set looks like a mix between a church and a Las Vegas performance show. Angels, glowing lights, choirs, everything is intentionally using the religious imagery to make Homelander feel divine. And at the end of the sequence, Oh Father isn't satisfied and demands a reshoot. He tells everyone, "Be perfect as Lord Father is perfect." At this point, he fully believes Homelander is a divine being. This wasn't just a commercial shoot anymore. It was basically a worship ceremony. The second major detail is Homelander using the Oval Office. This scene confirms that Homelander has officially crossed into dictator territory. In the comics, Homelander's ultimate goal was never just celebrity status. He always wanted political power too. And here, he's sitting disrespectfully in the president's chair like he already owns the country. There's also an amazing visual detail in the background. You can see portraits of Abraham Lincoln and George Washington on the walls, literal symbols of democracy, while Homelander casually talks about banning Congress. The show is intentionally showing America's founding ideals being destroyed right in front of their own symbols. And honestly, this feels like massive foreshadowing. Homelander is clearly moving toward merging religion and government together into a full fascist empire. He even refers to himself using divine language. Then the episode starts firing political satire nonstop. Every law Homelander proposes is intentionally ridiculous, but also terrifying because they reflect real-world extremist politics. First, he wants the Democratic Church of America to become the official religion, meaning church and government are no longer separate. And the funniest part? The religion's god is literally Homelander himself. Then he talks about sending troops into sanctuary cities. That's clearly referencing real-world immigration debates, but in this universe, Homelander is specifically targeting Starlighters, basically the opposition side. Then there's the abortion ban and mandatory breastfeeding policy. And this matters because Homelander's obsession with motherhood and breast milk has been part of his psychology since the beginning of the show. So now his personal trauma is literally becoming national policy. The ban nut milk line is completely absurd too. Homelander is basically making random nonsense laws because he knows nobody has the power to challenge him anymore. The scary part is, he barely even understands politics. He actually thinks the president can simply dissolve Congress overnight. Next, we finally get an ideological clash between the Gen 5 generation and the original Boys generation. Marie and Jordan still believe heroes can save things, but Annie and MM are exhausted. You can hear it in their conversations. They've been fighting the system for too long. Emma also gets mentioned here, and apparently she's spying on Oh Father. That detail feels extremely important because it sounds like the finale is setting up a huge reveal involving her investigation. Even though Emma doesn't physically appear in the scene, this confirms the Gen 5 characters are still actively involved in the bigger war. Then we cut to Butcher, Frenchie, and Kimiko running experiments. And there's a really important newspaper detail here. When Huey runs toward Kimiko after hearing her scream, a newspaper headline reads, "President Calhoun gives way to Homelander's martial law plan." That's actually a callback to the ending of last season. Now about Butcher's experiments. Back in season 3, the Russians used radiation torture to transform Soldier Boy into a weapon. And now, Butcher is repeating that exact same process on Kimiko. Yes, Kimiko technically consented, but morally, Butcher is slowly becoming just like the people he hates. The only difference is that he believes he's doing it for a good cause. Even the lighting in the room tells the story. The sick green-blue laboratory colors make the place feel like a horror movie. The show is visually comparing the boys to Vought. Their methods are becoming dangerously similar. Another important detail comes from Marie and Jordan's surveillance notebook. It looks like an old-school detective investigation log. One entry mentions Oh Father leaving Vought Tower carrying a duffel bag, and in the boys' universe, duffel bags usually mean Compound 5, V1, or weapons. Another note says he walks 2 blocks to a diner and writes things in a notebook, but what exactly is Oh Father writing down? That mystery definitely feels like setup for the finale. Then we get one of the best Huey and Butcher scenes in the episode. Huey is completely broken at this point. He's exhausted and losing hope. So Butcher gives him a motivational speech using the Spice Girls. The Posh Spice reference is actually about Victoria Beckham, who many people considered the weakest singer in the group. But Butcher's point is that talent doesn't matter. Survival does. Persistence matters more than skill. That's why he lists Beckham's accomplishments. To him, stubbornness itself is success. Meanwhile, the Deep completely falls apart emotionally after Homelander disbands the Seven, because being part of the Seven was his entire identity. The funny thing is, Deep still thinks this is some kind of corporate promotion opportunity. He even offers to run the team himself. But Homelander isn't thinking like a team leader anymore. He sees himself as a god now. Even the framing of the scene visually places him above everyone else. There's another subtle detail too. Deep lies about why Black Noir died. Homelander clearly knows he's lying, but lets him go anyway. That's interesting. Then the team infiltrates Vought Studios, and they discover a fake patriotic cowboy superhero show called American Eagle shooting on set. This is obvious political satire. Inside the show, Starlight is portrayed as an illegal smuggler villain, and Annie herself says, "Half the country actually thinks I'm like this," meaning the propaganda has fully worked. Then the writer reveals Homelander is rebooting the entire Vought universe. That's why the show is being canceled. And then comes one of the funniest meta jokes in the episode. The writer says the script was written by Taylor Sheridan AI. That line is clearly roasting modern AI-generated generic television writing. Backstage, Huey and Butcher realize Homelander isn't preparing a speech. He's filming an entire Messiah-style musical. Then Butcher delivers one of the best lines of the episode. "Hitler on the outside, Fosse on the inside." That joke has layers. The Hitler comparison is obvious because Homelander is becoming a fascist dictator, but Fosse references legendary choreographer Bob Fosse, famous for flashy musical performances. So Butcher is basically saying Homelander is both a tyrant and a dramatic theater kid at the same time. Then Butcher suddenly starts talking to Huey about Billy Joel songs. But this actually has a purpose. Synapse can read minds. So Butcher intentionally forces Huey's brain to focus on random music discussions to hide their real thoughts. Songs like scenes from an Italian restaurant, The Entertainer, and Allentown are casually mentioned to distract Synapse. And this connects back to Season 2, where Billy Joel's Pressure played during Butcher's return. Next, Deep meets his ocean friend, Gender. But the conversation quickly turns hostile. Gender blames Deep for the pipeline genocide in the ocean. Technically, Black Noir was more responsible, but Deep supported the operation too, meaning the ocean creatures now reject him completely. This is full circle character writing. Humans always disrespected Deep. Now even sea life hates him too. And ironically, Deep didn't directly commit the crime himself, yet he's lost both the ocean and the Seven. Then MM and Starlight follow O-Father to a theater, and the background posters are hilarious. One Homelander poster is clearly parodying James Gunn's Superman poster, except instead of saying "look up," it says "look out." There's also a Deep poster that's basically a direct Aquaman parody. Then comes the secret screening scene. O-Father organizes an exclusive early screening for hardcore Homelander supporters. The opening shot is straight up copied from Gladiator. Homelander walks through golden wheat fields like some holy savior figure. But the funniest detail is that the VFX notes are still visible on screen. Things like remove Jesus cables, extend field, fix background. The propaganda is so rushed and fake that the unfinished edit is accidentally shown to the audience. Then Jesus himself appears and calls Homelander brother. And his dialogue is packed with modern right-wing rhetoric about corrupt FBI agents, immigrants, and transgender issues. But the darkest moment comes when Jesus hands Homelander the crown of thorns. Symbolically, traditional morality is officially dead. The world now wants a violent savior instead, and Homelander pretends to be humble by saying, "I am not worthy," only to immediately accept the crown seconds later. Fake humility at its finest. The episode also spends more time developing Soldier Boy, and honestly, his character is becoming confusing. Suddenly, he wants to leave, and Homelander instantly knocks him unconscious and drags him back. It happens so easily that it almost breaks the show's power scaling entirely. At this point, nobody even understands how the power system fully works anymore. Then we learn something terrifying about Synapse. Not only can he read minds, he can temporarily disable powers too. That's how he captured Butcher, and Butcher even says, "I can feel him worming around in me noggin," meaning Synapse is literally inside his mind. For the first time in a long while, Butcher actually feels helpless. After Annie, Frenchie, and Sage finish their conversation, another huge reveal drops. Synapse can mimic voices. And shortly after, we learn he can impersonate entire people too. The guy is basically a living scroll. And that explains why all these psychics were gathered together. They were being used to secretly scan the audience during the test screening and identify non-believers. Then Dognot and She-Line start killing them, but MM and Starlight take both of them out. That becomes one of the episode's biggest deaths after 6 episodes. Then Deep gets one final chance at redemption. A drowning man calls for help. Perfect PR moment, right? But Deep refuses to save him because it's actually a trap set by ocean creatures trying to lure him into the water and kill him. Deep knows the second he enters the water, he's dead. Then a woman calls him the Lord of the Seven Seas, which is tragic because Deep never truly was that and never will be. Then comes one of the darkest scenes of the season. The soup takes Joe Kessler's form and exposes Butcher's real nature. Kessler was already dead. Last season, he was only part of Butcher's consciousness, and now the truth comes out. Butcher created Kessler because the real Butcher is a ruthless monster, willing to sacrifice anyone for the mission. The episode even references the Puncher Valley mission, where Butcher got his entire squad killed just to complete the objective. That's why Kessler warns Huey, everyone around Butcher dies. But the biggest reveal happens right after. Butcher thought he successfully hid information from Synapse, but Synapse reveals he was inside Butcher's mind the entire time, meaning he already knows everything. Sage's location, Kimiko's experiments, all of it, and he immediately reports everything to Homelander. That's why Homelander arrives during the climax. Finally, the episode ends with pure tragedy. Sage successfully helps complete the experiment, and it looks like Kimiko may now have Soldier Boy's depowering radiation abilities powerful enough to neutralize Soups completely. But before anyone can celebrate, Homelander arrives. And for the first time, the show fully demonstrates how Homelander scans environments, how he sees through walls, how he tracks hidden people. Then Frenchie stands up to him without fear, just like A-Train did before dying. Frenchie openly mocks Homelander, even while staring death in the face. And honestly, even if Homelander didn't kill him, the radiation probably would have eventually. And that's where the episode ends. Now only the finale remains. So, what do you think happens next? How did the boys possibly wrap all of this up in one final episode? Drop your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives like this every week.